was type of is happy, of course, it will be a Boolean. And if I go to my console, as you can see, it is a Boolean. Let's declare another data type here. And what I'm going to do here, I'm not going to give it any value. So I can just say let profession like that. I will not give it any value. Of course, if I did not give a variable in JavaScript any value, its value by default, it will be undefined. Of course, it will be undefined. So let's try to do the same with profession. And if I go here, it is undefined here. Now I can also, this way, by the way, doing that or doing that, undefined, it is the same. There's no difference between the two. Because if I did undefined, it's a value here. If I do it this way or this way, it's the same idea. The last one here is null. So what I'm going to do here, I can just say let salary or const salary, doesn't matter really. Const salary, it's null. Now, as you can see here, null does mean nothing. But type of null, now if I type here, what is type of salary here? It will give me, as you can see, an object here. Voilà. Is the idea clear?
But Sam, what's the type of the type of it's an object or it's an?
It is an object.
It is an object. It's not method.
It is no. So object in JavaScript, now we will study them later. I'll just give you an example. You don't have to understand it for now. I can just say const person, and any person between us, for example, will have a name. So I can just say name. I can make the name John, for example. He could have an age. He could have is happy or not. So what I'm going to do here, what the hell is going on here? I forget the equality. So as you can see in JavaScript, that's what we call an object. We will study it later. Don't worry about it. But that's simply an object. So an object is just can have multiple variables. So if I want to have here, as you can see, I have single variable, single variable, single variable, single variable, single variable. Sometimes that's not the case. I want to create something which can hold multiple value at the same time. In order to do so, I have two options. Either I'm going to create an array or I'm going to create an object. So that's an object. An object in JavaScript simply, it's a box, big box, could contain a lot of value. As you can see, name, age, blah, 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 and so on and so on and so on. Is it clear?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
On null. Okay, you show us an object right now, and null is an object. So
yeah.
So how can you prove that null is actually an object? But because it's nothing, so why will it be an object?
Well, the proof simply here, if I go to my log, it's telling me it's an object. That's the proof.
That is the law. That is you just have to follow the rules of JavaScript, right? Even if it's nothing.
No, in JavaScript there is, okay. JavaScript, 95% of JavaScript is logical. You can understand it. Well, let's say 95, yes. I'm being generous, but anyway. In JavaScript, around 95 to 90, let's be logical a little bit, 90% of the language does make sense. It's logical. We have some exception, like 10%, or maybe a little bit less. They don't make any sense. So the creator of JavaScript just defines them this way. So for example, here's a type of null, it's an object. Why? No one knows why. Okay, just because the creator of JavaScript, okay? Yeah. It's not something I can change. No, because I did not create the language. The language is that, okay? The guy who created JavaScript says that, okay, we have a value null when the value null here is data type is an object. Is it okay, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let me click on this one here. Now, this is what we call primitive data type. Do you know what's primitive in English? Do you know what's primitive in English?
Yeah, what is
yes, very old data types like this.
Yeah. So primitive, you know, primitive human, like the human lived in the, I don't know, before he was like just like hunting and stuff like that and living in caves. Okay, that's primitive data type. So primitive data type are simple, they're not complex. We have another data type which is simple. Actually, we don't use simple a lot. So what's important for me here, just knowing number, knowing string, knowing Boolean, and here, of course, undefined and null. Well, that's a type data type here. We call them primitive data type. Of course, in JavaScript, we have also what we call the reference data type or complex data type. So reference data type. Our reference data type, we have three. We have object, we have arrays, and yes,
Object, arrays, and
and
objects,
Looping.
arrays, and
what is
Loop.
that?
Loop.
No. Loop are not data type. They're just structure.
Yeah.
Boolean.
Pointers are like this.
We don't have pointer in JavaScript. We have pointer in C and C++.
Okay.
Sample?
What is that?
Sample?
No, symbol is actually symbol is here. So
Okay.
simple is primitive data type symbol.
Okay.
Okay, so we have arrays,
he
we
has
have
string
object.
and function.
We are not guessing their function. Of course, their function. Wow. So the three reference data type, the array, object, and function. Okay, so what is an array? So simply here, an array can hold multiple value. Object also can hold multiple value. Function here, it is a reference data type. We will learn later why it is a reference data type. So let's first have a look at the array. So how can I create an array in JavaScript? Well, an array is very similar to list in Python. We have the array in Java. We also have arrays in C and C++. So to create any array in JavaScript, it's just like normal variable. I will just say const names, for example, names like that. And here I can just square bracket, and then here that's the first value, John, comma, the second value, comma, the third value, comma, I can add 5 if I want to. I can add true. So true is a Boolean, as you know, you can add null and undefined. So what's interesting about the array in JavaScript is the data type could be different. Now, if we go to another programming language, which is strongly typed data type, for example, if we take Java or we take C# or we take C or C++, the data type of the array must be the same. So all of them must be string, or all of them must be numbers, or all of them must be Boolean like that. But in JavaScript, no. You can add anything to your array. It is totally fine. As you can see here, I have a string, I have a second string, I have third string, I have a number, I have a Boolean, I have a null, and I have undefined, as you can see. Yes, no.
It is starting from 0, the length of the array. Starting from 0 or 1?
Yes, I will explain it later. And now I don't want to go into the details. I'll explain it later. So the idea here, as you can see, the array here, it's a variable, but it can hold multiple value. If I compare it with primitive data type, the primitive data type can hold one value only. But the complex data type or reference data type, they can hold multiple values, as you can see. Voila, 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 as you can see. Of course, the syntax all the time is equal square bracket, and then between the different value, you need to add a comma. The last one here, you don't need to add, no need. As you can see, the last one, no need, but before you have to add a comma here. So the comma separator to separate the different value. Is the idea clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you may think here, how can I access the first value here? Because that's not like primitive data type. Primitive data type, I'm just gonna log the name of the variable and it will give me the value. But that's not the case in arrays, as you can see. How can I access the first value?
You can type name.john and it will access it.
No,
Or
I
name
will
dot zero.
put,
Or name dot
I will put name between brackets 0.
Name dot zero.
bracket 0, yeah.
Yeah.
But what is this bracket? I don't understand what this bracket mean.
It's actually
What?
addressing the
Yeah.
index
Index.
of array.
Means take the premier the first array that you have.
So what is this 0?
0.
But arrays always start from 0. 0, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
like that.
but you are not listening to my question.
Uh,
Yes, thank you, Catherine. That's the index. So what do I mean by
index.
index? Okay, now arrays, we have array length and we have array index. They are not the same. What do I mean by array length? Well, array length here, if I see how many items I have inside my array, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how much will be the length of my array? The length, it will be 7. So let me verify that. Let me verify that. So in order to get the length of the array, it's quite simple. All I have to do, I will put the name of my array, and then if I say dot, I have a function for that. If I say length, see, actually it's property length, and it will give me 7. And if I go here, click here, it gives me 7, as you can see. So to know the length of the array is super simple. I will put the name of my array, then dot, and then this dot, it will give me a lot of function or property. One of these property to know how many item I have inside my array, it's length. And length is how many item do I have inside my array. Length should be simple, right? So the length is simply how many item do I have inside my array. But we have something called index is different from length. What do I mean by that? Well, indexing in programming, indexing in general, start with 0. What do I mean by that? That means this guy here, John, it has index 0. This guy have index 1. This one index 2. This one index 3. This one index 4, 5, 6. And to access any value, I can use the index. That means I will put the name of my array, square bracket here, and the index. So if I type 0, now it will give me the first value here, John. And if I go to my console here, as you can see, it gives me John. But what if I want the value 5 here? How can I print the value 5? How can I access the value 5 inside my array?
Name and
Index
3.
3. Index 3. Name index 3.
Name
So
and
I
give
need-
index 3.
Yeah, so I need to know the index 0, 1, 2, 3. So all I have to do, I can just log now. I'm logging just so I can see, and I can take the name of my array and I will take index 3. Of course, if I take index 3, it will give me the number 5, as you can see. Click, voila, 5 here. Is the idea of the indexes is clear. I'm gonna repeat it a lot in the future, but that's simply how we can access anything inside any array. We need to use the indexes here. And the index is different from the length. The length is how many items do I have, 7. And the indexes, all the times they are short by 1 comparing to the indexes. Why? Because I have 7 items inside my array, but the maximum index I have is how much? How much is the maximum index?
6.
6. So yeah, 6. Why? Because simply I am starting from 0, as you can see. So remember something in programming in general, all the times the indexing, we use indexing with arrays and the index start with 0. Always with 0.
So
Yes.
So the length is what you use also in the for loop. The same thing you use in this array, like in the for loop, dot length, something like that, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, but
you. I just want to.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes. We use the length, but again, it's very important to understand that the length and the index are not the same. The index here, I am starting always with 0, but the length is how many items do I have inside my array. I have 7, but the length here, the maximum length I have is 6, as you can see. So let's try to use for loop and try to loop through our array here. To use a for loop here, I can just say for. You don't need to know the syntax. Again, you don't need to understand that. I'm going to explain it in the future. I need to define the starting point. So the starting point, I want to start from 0. Can anyone tell me why do I want to start from 0?
That's all
Because
the
we
index.
have the index is starting from 0.
But this is initialization.
That's not. Yes, initialization, but just a minute. Yes. That's initialization, but my point here is why I'm starting from 0. Why I don't start from 20?
Because you are trying to sort out or that index from the beginning, and that's why you write.
It's a depend.
we
It's
need
a
the
depend
index.
what you want. It's a depend what you want. If you want to start from 20, it's okay. If you want to start from 0, it's okay. But it's a depend the condition you put.
But whenever you use loop, you have to start from initialization from start from 0. Then it's starting your array from starting
No,
from
I
0.
can start with million if I want to.
Yes, but in
Start
loop,
with million if I want to. But that's not the idea. The idea, my question here, why I'm starting from 0? I'm starting from 0 because if the index of the first value is 0, that's the reason why I'm starting from 0, because I'm trying to access the item inside my array. So I need to start from 0. Okay, what is the condition? How many time I need to loop? How many time I need to loop? Yes.
7 times.
7 times because I have 7 items. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5,
You're not showing
6.
your screen anymore.
we are not. You cannot see your screen. Okay.
Okay. No.
Okay. So how many times I need to loop? Arsan, what you said no. What do you mean by no? Arsan.
Nobody said no.
Yeah, Arsan said no.
Ah, really? Okay.
Is not understandable or what? Anyway, let me complete.
It's an old message over some.
Okay. Let's I is equal to 0. I'm starting from 0 because the index of this value is 0. But until when? Well, I want to loop here until the index. Remember, this one, it will be the index. How much the maximum index I have? Well, 6. So what I can do here, I can say as long as I is less than the name of my array, which is names dot length. Why dot length? Well, simply because the length is 7. So my length here, the length is 7. So I'm gonna loop until I is less than 7. So I first it will be 0, it will access this one. When it become 1, it will access this one. When it become 2, it will access this one. 3, it will become this one. 4, it will become this one. 5, it will become this one. 6, it will become this one. Now when it becomes 7, 7 is 7 less than the length here, which is 7. Is 7 less than 7?
Yeah, because it will be starting from 0, so it will going to the 7 item I have.
So 7 is not less than 7. That means this condition is false and my loop will stop. Now all I have to do, I just need to log. Again, I need to the name of my array and then bracket I. I here it will be the index. So the first time I it will be 0, it will access this element. Second time, because I'm increasing by 1 each time, it will be 1, I will access this one. It will be 2, I'm gonna access this one. It will be 3, I'm gonna access this one. 4, I'm accessing this one. 5, I'm accessing this one. 6, I'm accessing this one. But when it comes to 7, the length here is 7, and 7 here I, it will be 7. So is 7 less than 7?
No.
Of course not. That doesn't make sense. 7 equal to 7 is not less than 7. And here this condition is false, so it's gonna stop my loop. And now if I go to my console, as you can see, John, Bob, Peter, 5, true, null, undefined, as you can see. Clear, no?
Very clear.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Very clear.
Okay, let's go to our dev tools. Let's go to source. And I cannot see my source. So in order to do so, I can just add, what's the statement here? What's the statement to start debugging? What was the statement?
Debugger.
Debugger. If I do the debugger, as you can see here, it will stop my program executing here. So I can put a breakpoint here, click, that's breakpoint. And now here I'm gonna click on the blue one. The blue one here is gonna execute the code and it will stop here at this point here, which we call the breakpoint. So if I click on this guy, voila, it stop here. Now I am inside my loop. So what I can do, I can expand this one here, and that's what you call the scope. Was in my scope, as you can see, I already have my array. So I have John, Bob, Peter, 5, true, null, undefined. I already have my array, as you can see. So it's telling me it's an array, and the length of the array is 7, as you can see. It's telling me you have 7 item inside your array. So the length is 7. Now let's try to go step by step through our loop here. So let me try to maximize this a little bit so you can see. Okay, so what will be the first step? Well, the first step here, I, the value of I, it will be 0. Then it will go to this part here. It will check. Now names.length, of course, it's 7 because I have 7 items inside my array. So it will check. Is 0 less than 7? True or false?
True.
Because it's true, it will go here and it will try to execute this code. Now it will try to log names, that's my array, bracket 0. Which value it is, bracket 0? It will be this guy.
No.
So it will try to access, let me show the console as well. And now let's try to go step by step. So here's as a step, I'm gonna click. So what the first step is doing here, as you can see, it will just start the initialization. So it will define I as 0, this one. Now it will come to this condition. It will compare, is 0 less than 7? No. And it will try to check this condition. Of course, this condition is true. If this condition is true, where it will go?
Inside the loop.
Go to the body of the loop and it will execute this value. So let's try to do it. Click. And as you can see now, I'm coming to the body of the loop and it will try to execute the name here, known bracket I, which will be 0, of course. Now the value here, it will be John, and I already have John in the console, as you can see. What will be the next step?
We do the same thing.
It added one, I plus plus.
There will be increment, I
so
plus plus.
It will increment. So it will increment. Notice how is the incrementation it will happen. So now if I click next step, now it come here. As you can see, I, it was 0. Now it will increment it. Click. At increment I by 1, now I become 1. It will come back again to the condition all the time. It will check the condition. Is 1 less than 7?
True.
True. So it will go here. Voila, it will execute it. What is the name bracket 1? It's Bob, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it will click Bob, as you can see. Voila. So I have Bob here. Everything's fine. Now, after that, what it will do, after it logs the Bob here with the index 1, what is going to do?
It will be 2.
It will increment again. So if I click on this one, now I become 2, and then it will come and check the condition. Is 2 less than 7?
True.
True. Then now it will go here, and it will try to access the item inside my array with index 2. Which one is index 2? It's Peter, of course, because 0, 1, 2. And if I click on this one while I have Peter, as you can see in the console, it will go again. It will increment now by 1. I was 2, now it will become 3, as you can see. Check the condition again. Is 3 less than 7? True. And now here it will go again, as you can see. And the index 3 here, it will be 5. And if I go another step while I log 5 in the console, it will come again, increment by 1. Now I become 4, it will check the condition. Is 4 less than 7? Yes, and it will go again. And now it will try to log the true here because the index here is 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, as you can see. Click, and as you can see, I have true. It will go again, increment I by 1. Now I will become 5. Check the condition again, 5 is less than 7. It will try now here, it will now log the null here. Click. Voila, because it has index 5. It will increment I by 1 again. Now it will become 6. 6 is less than 7, so it's still true. And now it will try to access in my array the item with the index 6, which will be undefined. If I click on it, as you can see, it's log undefined. Now it will increment I again by 1. It it will become 7. And of course, now is 7 less than 7?
False.
It's false, as you can see, because 7 is not less than 7, 7 equal to 7. And now here it will stop executing my loop, and voila, as you can see, it will now just exit my loop. Voila, gone. Do you see how it works? Yes, no. Here just const as the name of my object. Let's name it, for example, yeah, car. And now here it's equal, and now here I need curly brace. Notice the syntax is different with array square bracket. So it's like that here. That's the array. Okay, the array square bracket, but with object is curly brace, as you can see. And now here, the object in JavaScript are key value, key value. What do I mean by key value? Well, I can here type model. So that will be the key, colon, and now I can give it a value. Notice here, the key and the value are separated by colon. And each key and value separated by the other key and value by using comma. That's the syntax for object in JavaScript. So the model is Ford, the year 2020, whatever I want to, the color is red. Now here the value could be anything. They could be strings, they could be numbers, they could be Boolean, whatever you want to. And here this property, you define this property as you want, it's fine. So you will name this, it's just like the name of the variable. You can give them any property you want to, it's fine. So now I have my object, as you can see. I have car, and the car normally has a model. Here the model is Ford. It has the year of being built. Here's 2020. It has a color. What else? It has power or something, price, availability. No, I mean power, horsepower or something like that. 200. Voila. Now you can add as much as you want properties. There is no problem in that. Now, there is no different if I move the model down or up. It doesn't matter. So if I move this one up, Control Z. If I move this property here up, it doesn't matter, still the same. Because the order here in JavaScript, in objects, the order does not matter. So if this one comes first or this one comes last, there is no difference. In arrays, the order is very important because we are accessing the element using the index, but in the object, the order does not matter. So now what do I want to do? Well, I want to access this value or this property here, which is called color. How can I access color? I cannot use it here. The index is only with arrays.
Is with console log car dot power.
So what is dot?
Dot power. At dot, the access the property.
So to access any property inside an object in JavaScript, we can use the dot operator. You just type dot, and here it will give you the different value. And then after that, what do you want to access? Well, I can access anything I want to. I want the color. So what I'm going to do here, just type color, voila. And of course, now it will give me red. If I want to access the power, same idea. The module, the same idea, whatever I want to. And if I go to my console, as you can see, I have red 204, voila. Is the idea clear?
Yep.
For the others?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, so that's simply an object in JavaScript. An object is a reference type. Why? Because it can hold also multiple values, just like arrays. The last thing we need to discuss about here is, or the last complex or reference data type is function. So what is a function in JavaScript? What is a function in JavaScript? What do you think a function is in JavaScript?
It's a primitive type.
It is an action, it's something, right? Something do something or whatever. It is an action, right? So a function simply is an action. Now I'm going to create a simple function. This function can take two numbers, add them, and return the sum of these two numbers. So in order to do that, I can just say function, and here I can name my function any name I want to because I'm trying to add number. I name it sum. And here the syntax is very important. This parenthesis here, I need now, if I want, I can pass what we call parameter A and B. That's my way of saying that's my function. Whenever you call this function, you need to pass two numbers, and I'm gonna return, this function gonna return back this number plus this number. So to use that function, that's what you call function declaration. It's my way of telling JavaScript, this is a function. But of course now nothing will happen. If I go to my console, I have nothing here. Why? Because simply I did not call the function. So this one here, the function is two-step, is not one step. First is declaration, what you call function definition or declaration. Define is a function. And the second part here, it will be calling the function. Calling the function. So to call the function here, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to call my function and I will put it inside the log so I can see the result here in the console. So I can just say log because I want to see the result in my console. Now I can call my function sum. So how can we call a function? I just need to use the name and after that parentheses. And then I need to pass how many numbers?
2.
2. Why? Because when I created my function, I am telling JavaScript, okay, whenever someone will call this function or use this function, he need to pass 2 numbers. And now here, if I pass 1 and 10, of course, as you know, what my function is doing is gonna take 1, gonna take 10, add them together and return me this value. So it's the same here. It will take 1 and 10, it adds them, it become 11, and it will return 11. And then here's this value, all of it replace it by 11, and I can see it in the console. So if I go to my console, voila, I have 11, as you can see.
If I put for function toString, it will be printed, just printed, or not accepted?
Again.
If I put the A as a string and B as a string, it will be accepted or not?
No, that's something else. You need to how can I say, you need to handle this error in your function. No, you can pass anything here. So in JavaScript, it's not like, for example, in C or C++ or in Java or C#. If in, for example, I am in C and I would try to pass a number and a string, I will have a problem here. It will give me an error. Why? Because simply when I define my function in C, I'm defining the type as well. I'm telling this one here is the type, it will be number, this one it will be number. In JavaScript, I'm not defining any types. So here I am allowed to do that. Now, if I pass this value, what do you think the result will be?
110, yeah, 110.
Yeah, so it will concatenate, as I told you, because I'm adding both of them. One of them is string, so JavaScript automatically it will concatenate these two numbers. So the result, it will be 110, as you can see, as a string. Don't worry about that. We will see how we can validate our function, how we can make sure our function works, how we can validate the type, everything. For now, I just want to know what is the function. That's it.
Then before we make a function, we need to make a variable for any what I mean. For example, I must, before I use the A, I must make it like a constant or like object or like bool or the I don't know how can I explain that, but I need to put a variable at the type, choose the type for a variable before I use it or not needed.
In JavaScript is dynamic.